Hello and good evening, Xbox Nation. And I do say Xbox Nation, even though this is a multi-plat show, folks. This is going to be a podcast this evening that is going to start with Xbox, is going to continue through the middle with Xbox, and practically end with Xbox conversation. Because quite frankly, that is all the rage right now, Hargeet Chani. It has been the talk of the town since January 1st of this year. It's been one bomb story after another, exactly what I predicted. And obviously, the last week or so has been really, really on point for Xbox news. I mean, look, we have the direct happening in less than a week, give or take, right? It's the 22nd, so it's 8 days. I'm here for it. I think we're going to be wowed. There is a rumor of a fifth game. I will talk about that. We'll get into that rumor. I know it's going to get Asante very excited, but Hargeet Chani,
there he is.
How are you feeling? So yeah, there you go.
Still getting over this cold, but getting better. It's more in the I guess healing stage, right? So it was in the bad, and now it's in the latter part of it. So still have coughing fits, so you might see me mute.
Okay, I mean, listen, brother. Joseph and I were sick for 2 weeks just recently, and we were sick for 3 weeks before that. It was just, it's
keeps going, right? But outside of that, good enough. Some busy work. There's lots of stuff going on at work and lots of family things as well. So, but either way, long weekend coming up for those who celebrate it. Hopefully, your company gives you the day off. It'd be awesome. But if not, too bad. I get it off. I'm happy.
Yeah, Mrs. Boom as well, which is why, again, I'll talk about that because it's not going to be a show next Monday because I'm taking Mrs. Boom upstate to do some shopping. We're going to do some family time, and she's going to cut her hair. So we're going to go and have a nice day away from the socials and from podcasting next Monday. And I mean, granted, if there's some major, unbelievable breaking news that the world has cracked open, I'll cover it that evening, even if I'm hanging out by myself. But the afternoon show, which is normally 12 o'clock Monday, there will not be a show. I will remind everybody before the end of the show and throughout the week and even on the weekend. But hey, Asante, what's going on, brother? We got some breaking news, and everyone is excited except for PlayStation Nation, who is not getting Forza Horizon 6 up front. How you feeling?
I'm not doing bad, man. Sorry I'm a little late. I've been running around all day. Did you catch the news of what was it? They picked the person who's going to play Kratos in the movie.
They did. I saw him. He looks good. I don't know who.
But you know who he is, right? You don't know who he is? He's the voice of Thor in the game.
Is he?
Who is it?
Yeah. What's his name? His last name is Hurst. James Hurst, I think is the name. But basically, remember the guy who plays Thor? He kind of looks like Thor, but he's a little bit more scraggly in the game. But they made him, the guy who played the voice of Thor is now Kratos in the movie. And I'm just like, dope. He looks more Viking than he does Greek.
I mean, obviously, they did the side to side. He has the big beard. Yeah. They're gonna do him up, obviously. They're gonna make him look like Kratos.
We were having a great conversation with that thing. It's an interesting pick. So we were having talks in that, What's going on, everybody?
Well, I mean, listen, look, there is a lot to get into. So, okay, this is going to be a two-tiered topic, all right? So Alan Feely, as you know, on Twitter, is an amazing community member. Most people in the Xbox community know him. We've all met him in real life. He is an absolute gentleman of a man. Well, I know that this has been reported on by a lot of people, a lot of publications, but I want to use Alan's because he was the first one to break this. Now, of course, he did do this in conjunction with promoting the article from Xbox Era. So we'll read a little bit of that from during the conversation we're about to have. But I do want to bring Alan's tweet into the conversation. And folks, here we go. The Forza Horizon 6 date has been leaked. And it wasn't leaked by somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Xbox did it to themselves, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Look, some people are calling it a blunder. Some people are calling it mismanagement. I actually kind of think that this is a controlled leak. As you know, I'm a big fan of the trades. There's a lot going on with Marvel and Doomsday. There's been a lot of leaks. Some of the trailers have leaked before. They got into theaters. I actually think that's Marvel trying to stir the pot. So that's what I would consider a controlled leak. Well, look, according to Alan, who posted this 9 hours ago, and obviously if you don't know who Alan is by first name, you might know him by Idle Sloth. Gentleman of a man, once again. He says leaked. Forza Horizon 6 will launch on May 15th in early access with a May 19th release date for the standard edition. The premium upgrade will receive the following. So check this out, folks. Early access, which is not a surprise. They've done this many, many times before. Play 4 days earlier, starting on May 15th. You also get the VIP membership, and what that does is give you extra money and bonuses through the races. So you're definitely going to want to go VIP. The welcome pack, the car pass pack, the time attack car pack, the Italian Passion car pack coming post-launch, and 2 premium expansions already confirmed for Forza Horizon 6. And both of those expansions, Hargeet and Kay, will be coming post-launch. Now, where did this leak exactly happen? Well, thanks to Xbox F10 on Twitter, he posted an image from within, ladies and gentlemen, Forza Horizon 5 that gives the date for the 6th game in the series, according to this image. And the image, it does, in fact, break down everything what I just said, and it does have the actual release date. So this was an advertisement. What's that?
In-game.
In-game, yes. In Forza Horizon 5, this image popped up, basically letting everyone know that this was happening on May 15th. And, well, there you go. So, again, listen, mistake, possibly. Controlled leak, possibly. Look, let me just say this, okay? Parris Lilly, which I said his name once, and I'm going to say it 2 more times because maybe, just maybe, the boogeyman will show up, because that's what he's known to a lot of the haters on the interwebs that come for him. He of course he lets them know about themselves. So Parris Lilly, I said it 3 times. Parris, if you're in the chat, brother, and you want to come onto the show, the reason why I want to bring you on here is because you put out a tweet that we're going to use as a jumping off point for the second half of the show, or the second topic of the show, I should say. And it's his breakdown on how he sees Xbox Studios first-party games releasing in order. I actually think Parris is freaking right. Oh, there he is. He's on the screen. And, of course, Xbox is dead. So, listen, I'm on a different screen. I'm going to see if Parris is here. Chat, let me know if he's here, if you don't mind, because, again, I'm on a couple of screens. But, look, Hargeet, let's just get into it. There is no doubt that based on the reception of Forza Horizon 5, we had some confirmations just recently. One, it has sold 5.1 million copies on PlayStation 5. That's a really big deal. The game is now it's not yet 5 years old, but it will be this year. It's over 4 years old. It made, for Xbox, $300 million in monies that they would not have had if this game had not released on PlayStation 5. Right now, we have a confirmed number of 55 plus million players across Xbox, PlayStation 5 and Steam, and that's a really big deal. It is currently the Xbox's most successful game, and I have a strong suspicion that it's not going to be the most sold game in 26, but it's going to be one of the most sold games, meaning that, you'll get your, if Grand Theft Auto comes out, it's probably going to be the best-selling game of the year. Obviously, if Modern Warfare hits like we think it's going to hit, it's also going to be one of the better-selling games of the year. But there is something to be said about the fervor that, there's a lot of really, like, big check boxes here that people like myself who are huge fans of arcade racers look for in a game like Forza Horizon. For me personally, Hargeet, I have never played a better racer than what is on your screen right now. Now, listen, before we even get into what your commentary is, folks, I'm gonna pull a Dirk Riggedy here. Don't bully me on my own show with my driving. You don't understand. I'm trying to get the freaking signs, and I drive like a lunatic when I do that. So before anyone be like, "Well, this guy have glasses, or is he?" It's because I'm getting those signs that you see right there. So yes, I'm driving like a lunatic. End rant. Hargeet Chani, let's talk Forza Horizon. This is a big deal. It happens to be releasing, or at least one of the. I mean, again, just taking a step back, and I know we're going to specifically talk about Forza, but ladies and gentlemen, I got to just take a second to kind of really shout out Xbox Game Studios on the years that they're going to have in 26. I mean, you've heard me say this before. I don't necessarily think there has been any one publisher at any one time in the past 25 plus years that has put a potential lineup together like we're going to get this year. And what's insane is every one of these games are going to be in your service you pay for, which is nuts. But listen, Hargeet, let's talk Forza Horizon. The date leaked. It was Xbox's fault. Again, whether it was controlled or not, we know that the game is going to be out officially on the 19th, but you can play early access, which again, most people do. You get the game in Game Pass, you buy the $30 upgrade, you get the expansions, you get the early access, you get the VIP stuff, and ultimately a $100 game costs you $30. Right? So it's a winner for everybody. Let's get your thoughts on this, because this is, again, every day that passes, it's more exciting news. And even though this was a leak, I'm still excited.
Yeah. So first, I do want to point out that the biggest selling game of Xbox is the top selling game of all time, which is Minecraft.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. So
continue to consider that does exist, and Minecraft is the best selling game of all time. And it flip flops with Tetris here and there, but right now I think it's still Minecraft. But either way, yeah, it's a big deal for them, right? It's a big franchise for them. They've kind of pushed motorsport a little down and trying to push this a little bit up, because there are people who like the motorsport, the circuit and like actually racing. I don't know how many like that versus this. I'm one of the ones that likes this a lot more.
I think it's more this over motorsport any day of the week. Yeah.
Right. Because you get to just go wherever you want and just like tool around with like different cars, right? Versus it's specific to just circuit racing and like that's all you get. So the racing sim part of it, like whatever. I kind of like the I can just do whatever I want, right? I can do the racing stuff. I can do some of the other things, but I don't have to. I can just go wherever I want and have fun, right? Like you're doing right now. I'm just gonna go break signs. Cool. Like it's totally fine. Just go have fun.
The hundreds of hours I spent doing that is just egregious.
Right. So and you get a whole bunch of different vehicles to play with, right? So it becomes like a nice little fun like thing to just go tool around, and the scenery is good, right? The graphics are so good, and you get to kind of go to a different place in the world and have fun, right? So it's this time it's Japan, which is something people have always wanted. So we'll see what they do with it. We have not seen much of what the game's about, but we're about to. We're a week and a day away. We have that Dev Direct next week. We're about to see what this game's all about. Look, we're probably going to announce the release date next week. Okay, it leaked. Whoops. Whatever. This is not the first time something like that's happened. And as far as, like you said, the potential for a $30 bump to get you the 5-day early access is very, very Xbox these days. It's pretty much what they do. Any big game, that's what they're going to do. It worked last time. Wasn't it like over 1 million people bought the expansion? It was something ludicrous like that. So it worked. You might as well take it. It worked. So what the hey? And look, a lot of people just like this game outright. They'll just buy it, right? So granted, it'll be on Game Pass for those who want to use Game Pass. It is staggered released for PlayStation, as I understand. So it will come there as well, and probably Switch 2. I don't know if they've announced that. Have they announced the Switch 2 port yet?
No, not as far as I know.
I'm sure it will get there. They're starting to work on the maybe they're finally getting the dev kits, but starting to work on their Switch 2 ports. I'm sure this will end up on Switch as well. So good, and hopefully, it instead of was it 55 something ridiculous million players, it'll get to 80 million players. Good, as many players as you can get. Why not, right?
Yeah.
So good recognition for Xbox. And we'll see how it goes as far as the mechanics they put into it. They do have some opportunities to make it more interesting because it's going to Japan. So we'll see what they do with that specific piece. The crazy thing is that Playground has been making, this is the 6th iteration, and every time they just seem to somehow make it even better. And how they keep doing it, I don't know, but somehow every time it just comes out, it's just because you just figure it's a tired old formula, they're doing the same thing. That usually happens, right? Somehow that hasn't happened yet, and hopefully I'm not jinxing them, but they've managed to somehow just keep it fresh, keep it going, much like Mario or Zelda, right? Like they just decade after decade, they've just been putting out great games, right? And you just wow, how do they keep doing this? And then mostly, I think they've been in the 90s for meta, right? They've been really highly rated. They're really, really, really good games. So I'm hoping for the same from them. To be very frank, though, my game that I'm really interested in is the other one. It's Fable.
I know and you're not wrong for that. You're not wrong.
So, I'm not a racing fan. I will spend time in this. Just because, again, I enjoy just tooling around. So it's fun to play that, just, see what's going on with that in the world of Japan. Great. I'll love to do that for a while. I'll probably spend 10, 20 hours in it. And that'll probably be all the enjoyment I need out of it. But I'm really looking forward to Fable. That is the game I'm looking forward to. I also want to see their kind of showcase. They want to showcase Beast of Reincarnation, which means they must think it's something special. So I want to see what they have to say about that. We'll see what they have to say about that one. And then the specials that will show up, right? I don't know what's going to happen there, but I assume there'll be at least a 4th, if not more. Maybe there'll be like a couple of remakes or something bundled together, something like that. That'll be fantastic. I don't know. Well, we'll see what they do, but I'm looking forward to the direct. We have a week and a day to go. We'll have some fun.
Well, obviously, if you're going to be free and you want to join us, I'll be covering that on that Thursday. So again, you'd be more than happy to join if you're free. Obviously, if you don't have any other commitments, but
no,
I'm going to be covering that.
I have meetings at work, so I won't. I won't be able to.
All right. Well, again, at the end of the day, we're going to be talking about it. At some point or another throughout the remainder of the week, but we'll be covering it live here. I'm putting a panel together as we speak, so when I have that information ready for you folks, we'll put that on the socials. But Casante, I have an article in front of me because Hargeet made mention of this game coming out during COVID. Came out, right? So it had COVID ahead of its release and its development. Well, I found the story here that I've mentioned several times before, and I kind of want to just use for some context. So most people in this chat, everybody on this panel will agree that Forza Horizon 5 is one of their stronger titles for Xbox. There's no doubt about it. It's a beloved IP. This particular IP, the fifth iteration of it, was one of the best racers I personally have ever played. Now, granted, I do have a few in my top 3, top 5. MotorStorm for PlayStation 3 is one of my favorite racers. Burnout 3 is another one of my favorite racers. I would go out and go. I don't think I'm going on a limb here. The launch title for the Xbox 360, Need for Speed Underground, is still one of my favorite racers of all time. But all of those racers, as great as every single one of them are, in my opinion, pale in comparisons to Forza Horizon 5. And where I'm walking down this path, folks, is this article that was posted by Ben Kerry, December 9th of last year. He says, ex-Forza dev says Forza Horizon 5 was, quote, impacted by COVID. And, of course, new game is in a league of its own. And when you hear, again, I don't want to read too much from the article because it's just the title alone is enough for context. I have read other stories where they've spoken to other devs and they said that that this game came out and it was built from people working at home, something that they normally don't do. And this game is just incredible. And it has broken every record before it for a racer that's Xbox first party. It has crossed 55 million players, which is incredible. It sold 5.1 million copies and will continue. And I got news for you. I think personally that after the Direct, PlayStation gamers, not the trolls, not the haters, not the ones that, that grift, that try to tell you Xbox is dead for the 17th time in 3 days. No, not them. The actual PlayStation gamers who just like PlayStation to game on. That's all. No console war nonsense. They just want to play good games. I think that this game in front of you right here is going to get a mega boost with sales on PlayStation 5. Hell, it might even start to sell more on Xbox on people that might have skipped it before 6 comes out, and you might see a spike on PC as well. But let's talk Forza Horizon 6 and its, quote, leaked date, which, of course, we now know is the 19th.
Yeah, so first off, that's very weird. Like, that's just
was in game, dude. I have
in game.
Yeah,
that is kind of wild. Like, so either someone's getting fired and there's like a stern talking to happening right now, or it's like, let's see how many people are paying attention.
I like what you're putting down there, sir.
Yeah. We'll see. Like, no, there's no rumor speculation. This is all rumor speculation, by the way. So we don't have any prior knowledge of it, but it's just kind of odd, right? But to the point that you're making, yes, Forza Horizon 5 was made, right? I recall the time when we were talking about it, and we weren't sure if this was going to be the time when they finally upgrade the engine properly, and then they ended up kind of, we thought, resting on their laurels a little by using the existing engine that they had, and we were like, oh, the next one's going to be the one, right? Which has ended up being Forza Horizon 6. But to your point, even the one where they quote unquote rested on their laurels is a game that has sold so much. It's a game that so many people love. I too love this game. To Hargeet's point before about how the demographics shake out as far as which ones play which version of the game. As I understand it, obviously the Forza Horizon crowd wins, but there's a very strong contingent of the motorsport crowd out there as well, who frankly feel a little salty these days because their baby might go out the pasture for a while, because of the recent shakeouts and all of that. But it seems that the better of the two for the massive audience have won, and it speaks to the quality that they have with the fact that the one that they basically quote unquote phoned home, literally working from home, is the one that's been the most successful. You know what I mean? So I wait very, very excited to see what that league of its own looks like, because now they're supposedly firing on all cylinders and they've upgraded, they've upped the ante as far as the engine's concerned and all that. I'm very excited to see what that turns into. I'm not surprised that it's going to come fast and furious. This is what they've been doing, right? Like Hargeet, I'm rather more interested in what they got on the other side of the house. If they're able to do this trick, it will send shockwaves into the industry. That way, racers are no longer racers. You can look at anybody and go, I guess what can you make next? Because these guys can set that benchmark, right? This is the type of iconic game that it's very hard to get right, but it looks like they're getting it right. As you can see from your the game on your screen here, they have great pedigree, they have great lineage, they keep making great games. So for me, this is a no-brainer. My only bit of criticism, and here comes the slander for me. My only bit of criticism is I still have not seen the leaked DLC that will feature the one Vin Diesel and talk about family, because that's the only thing missing here. I mean, they're in Japan. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It writes itself. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I will not get off my horse.
Did Vin Diesel was he in that? Like the Tokyo Drift? I assume that's what you're talking about. Tokyo
Drift. No. Right? Yeah, he wasn't in
that one, right?
He was in an after credit scene. Spoilers. Very old movie.
Look who is here. My brother from another. Parris Lilly. Man, it has been
You
a
called his
minute,
name and he
Parris.
showed up. There you go.
I know. I told you.
I just saw the random DM. Well, first of all, thank you for having me up. But I just saw the you just like join if you can. I go, what does this mean? I don't know what's going on.
I didn't put any context, brother. I'm doing. I got 3 screens open. I apologize. No, again, obviously you didn't know what I was going to do is you put out a tweet that I think has exploded.
I put out a lot of them. Yeah.
Well, no, this one is a good one. This one is basically a breakdown, in your opinion, of Xbox in 2026.
Yeah.
And you basically have a gift that says, you know it and I know it. And I want to get to that. But before we actually get to that, Parris, let's talk about this leak. The direct is 8 days away, and it leaked. The release date for Forza Horizon, which you have down here, is May, leaked. Apparently, it's happening on the 19th. You'll be able to play 4 days early. And we have all the information. Now, you might be asking, because maybe you haven't been reading the socials. Apparently, Xbox F10 posted an image that came the way of inside of Forza Horizon 5 that gives the release date for the 6th game in the series according to the image. Now, I have the image in front of me, but just for additional context, folks, I want to read what Jesse Norris, who wrote the article, and if you don't know Jesse, follow that man. He is an incredible journalist, and he is one of the best game players that I know. He beats everything, and his reviews are pretty damn good. Well, he did put an update that I want to read. And again, it's just for context, folks, because outside of seeing what Alan posted and, of course, what Xbox F10 posted, I haven't seen the image myself. So what Jesse put as an update here, and again, folks, just for context, he says, it's worth mentioning that at this time when he wrote the article, we've been unable to duplicate this pop-up in-game, and neither have any colleagues across other outlets. While the release date timeframe aligns with what we've previously heard with regards to Forza Horizon 6, we have to wait for the official confirmation. So again, folks, I didn't see the pop-up in my game, but apparently someone did. And to be fair, when this leaked, they might have pulled it down, right? They might have taken it out. So maybe that's why no one is finding it. But needless to say, once it hits the internet, it's forever. But Parris, let's talk Forza Horizon 6, your expectations, and at least one of the 5 you have listed here. Well, guess what, dude? You were right. You said May, and well, apparently May has leaked.
Well, Forza Horizon 6 coming in May was the worst kept secret in the whole industry. People had been saying that since the end of last year. So I'm
pretty much
not shocked at all. And sadly, I feel bad for whoever was in charge of this pop-up happening, because I hope they didn't get in trouble for it, because obviously
Kay Sante literally said the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, because this wasn't clearly they were going to announce the release date next week at the Dev Direct. I don't think anyone would have been surprised by that. I do want to answer something in the chat, because someone was like saying that I'm saying that there's going to be no games until May. That is not what I'm saying. Xbox is clearly going to have stuff before then. You're going to get Diablo 4 expansion. Obviously there's all the crazy rumors about Fallout and all that remasters. There's going to be Starfield 2.0. There's going to be other additional content, like I don't know the exact date, but I would imagine Planet of Lana 2, which is going to be in Game Pass, is going to come out at some point. They'll have content. Who knows? There might be a surprise shadow drop next week. Who the frick knows? I was just specifically...
I have an idea what that shadow drop might be that's not Fallout 3. I know that's going to get Kay Asante very excited, but there is a rumor floating around that Prototype Remastered could show up. And
who knows? Yeah, and we know High on Life 2. High on Life 2, is that February? I think that's February. And then close. Obviously Towerborn 1.0 is also February. So there's going to be stuff. I was just speaking basically on the big tentpole titles for the 25th year that they're going to kick it off with Forza Horizon in May. So again, I guess to go into my whole tweet. So my theory is this: Forza Horizon 6 in May. June, you got the showcase, new reveals. They're not going to release anything then. July typically is a dry month anyways. I think Halo Campaign Evolved is August. And my reason for thinking that is the 25th anniversary is more about celebrating 25 years of Xbox. You can still have Halo be a part of that on its 25th anniversary because you hint towards the future of Halo.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, all right. So Halo campaign evolved in August. Fable, September. Gears of War, E-Day in October. Bad math. I'm pretty sure it launched 20 years ago in October. So that would kind of line up. Obviously, horror aspects, Halloween tie-in. That makes sense to me. Call of Duty, the very beginning of November. Give it a couple weeks. Then obviously Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out. And so what that does is from May, you take a 2-month break. August, September, October, November, every month you have a big title coming out from Xbox. And obviously there's going to be third-party stuff, indie things. There's going to be a ton of titles that are going to be coming out from them. But your main flagship titles, you're going to have a big one coming out every month until the end of the year.
I mean, I like what you're putting down there, Parris. I think that, when you talk about celebration, right, the 25th anniversary is going to be going and celebrated the entire year. I've said this many, many times before, January 1st to December 31st, because I think at some point we're going to get some sort of a hardware release or reveal, right, whether that be at the Game Awards, whether that be at their own 25th anniversary event that has not been announced, by the way. We don't even know what they're doing in June, if they're doing anything in June, right? We don't know that. We know that they're going to have a show like they always do. We don't know if they're having a fan fest to celebrate the 25 years in gaming. The first half of the year, I do think is going to be chock full of other things. Now, what those other things are, look, I know that I don't know your recent thoughts on this, Parris. I still think Clockwork has a chance. I don't know that for sure. Okay, I mean, listen, that's fair. That's fair. But they showed it off. Okay, where I find it a bit suspicious is their social media team has been dead silent. Like, they are normally tweeting like lunatics and doing funny skits, and they haven't done any of that. And the last time we saw that game was in June. It looked really done to me, but again, I'm not a developer. I don't know what else they could have there that they haven't already announced. Again, the Starfield thing is a big deal. 2.0 is going to be like what happened with Cyberpunk. I really think it's going to be that big of a deal. It's going to be a game changer.
It's not. I've had enough people. Oh, so let me tell you this story. Real quick, I had came across a funny picture from the launch of Starfield with me, like I'm in space in the background, I'm laughing or whatever with shades on, right? And I just posted it. Hey, can't wait to see what's coming with Starfield in 2026. That's all I said. I had no idea there had been a small creator event where some people got to see the 2.0 update, right? So that goes viral on Reddit, all this stuff. Someone from Bethesda's DMing me, hey, you weren't at the event. How do you know anything? And I'm like, I don't. I'm just a fan, and I'm excited to see what's going on. I know nothing, right? And since then, they didn't tell me details, but I was essentially told, lower expectations. This will not be a Cyberpunk 2.0 Phantom Liberty style update that's going to come from Starfield. So I just want to put that out there because someone told me that directly. They didn't tell me what the update is. They just said lower expectations.
Well, I mean, listen, look, I don't know. You can call something 2.0 and not get, and not expect expectations, but not get something that's going to make it feel like a 2.0. It can't be just, we updated the frame rate or we updated the graphics. They're calling it Starfield.
I definitely think they're going to make changes. I mean, don't get me wrong, but you see how extensive CD Projekt Red updated Cyberpunk, and obviously Phantom Liberty was such a fantastic expansion. I think that's why they're saying that, because that's a lot of work. Think about it. Think how many years it took CD Projekt Red to get to that point. So I don't think it's realistic to think you're going to get the same thing with Starfield. Look, I would rather lower expectations and be pleasantly surprised than be super hyped about it and then let down. That's how I see it.
That's fair. That's a fair way to. My glass is always half full rather than half empty, and that's fine. I do agree with you. I'd rather. I mean, I will always side of expectations over lower ones. And if I'm disappointed, I have no one to blame but myself. But I'm always going to be that guy, the rah guy. Like, oh my God, yes, I can't wait to see it. And oh, they disappointed me. I don't mind doing that because I've done that many times in my life where I'm like, oh my God, this is happening. I can't believe it, and nothing. You know, it happens, man. But look, Parris, I don't know how much time you have, brother, but I do want to go to Hargeet and to Kay Asante, and I want to talk about his breakdown. So the breakdown that Parris had put onto the socials, which is getting a lot of people excited. He has here, this is Xbox in 2026, his opinion, and that's what it is, folks. He's not staking the ground. This is what's happening. This is his thoughts and theories, but I like what he's putting down. So Hargeet, he says, again, Forza, we know it's May. It's happening. Halo in August. I like that. Now, Parris did say that they could be celebrating the future of Halo for the November 15th. And when that's the official, 25th anniversary, personally, I think, Hargeet, that could be the multiplayer reveal that I believe is going to be PlayStation 5, Xbox, PC, and maybe even Switch. It's going to come out, and it's going to be their new multiplayer. It is going to be a gas game. It's going to be free to play, and everyone's going to be starting at zero playing Halo. I think the only way that you can make this as big as any of the current shooters is it's got to launch everywhere day one, and it's got to be amazing. And I think that they are going to deliver. That's just my thoughts. So he has Fable here for September. I really like this pick. November. Listen. I believe that Grand Theft Auto is getting a delay. I'm sorry. Like, I don't think it's hitting its dates. Again, we're going based on a podcast from Jason Schreier. Terrible human, yes. Good reporter, sure. He did say that he has heard that it's not content complete. What that means, well, folks, you take your expectations are yours. Mine, does that mean that this game is not coming out? And there's a lot going on. Outside of the game itself, there's a lot of internal stuff that is making the socials. There's a lot of, unhappy workers. When there's unhappy workers, there's slowages that happens. There's people protesting in front of offices. That's happening. There's a lot going on at Rockstar right now, like real life stuff. So I don't know if any of that real life stuff is going to get in the way of the game coming out, but they do have until March to get that game out for their financials, because that's when their fiscal year ends. Just for some additional context. But Parris also said Gears of War E-Day, October, Hargeet. And then, of course, November, no big surprise, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, where just watching and reading Charlie Intel and many of the Call of Duty casters out there, they are expecting Modern Warfare 4 to be the Black Ops 6 kind of release. It's going to be new. It's going to be bombastic. It's going to be big. It's going to be everything that we were hoping Black Ops 7. Now, granted, Black Ops 7's multiplayer is dope. I play it every day, and I'm addicted to it. I'm about to prestige for the 5th time. I am freaking loving it. But the single player, which is really kind of like co-op, it's just weird. I didn't really care too much for it. A lot of people didn't. What do you think about what Parris had to say? Which, of course, Parris is here. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that this is a good release schedule? Do you kind of feel like maybe it's too many good games in one bunch?
Well, hello, Parris. How have you been? Yeah, so it sounds very plausible. I think Gears actually did launch in November when it originally came out.
November 7th, actually. Yes, 20 years ago.
So, but either way, it's close enough. So Call of Duty coming out then, or they swap something like that. Fair enough, right? The big headache here is going to be if it's not delayed, GTA 6. You want to kind of stay away from that. And that was the 19th, if I remember. That's the stake.
And November 19th, for now. Correct.
We will see if that changes. But if it's coming out the 19th, coming out like the 7th might be okay. That might be great, right? Just coming out on November 7th. Let's say they put Gears then, and maybe Call of Duty before that. I don't know. However they want to play that out.
Yeah,
Call of Duty.
You could see the swap for sure. Yeah.
Call of Duty is going to be Call of Duty. It's going to do fine, whatever. It doesn't matter. Even this year's Call of Duty still is doing fine. Even though it's not the greatest, it's still doing okay. So fine. I'll take that. And the rest of the schedule sounds good to me. It sounds reasonable. And what I'd love to see, Parris, is actually, like you said, tell me what's coming next in Halo. I really want to see Halo next. I'm more interested in that than I am with this remake. Remake's cool. It's got 4 missions or something like that, right? That are
3 with Sergeant Johnson.
Cool.
Yes,
three missions. That's cool. I'll play that. And if that's a summer enticement, great. Show me what's coming next. When is the championship stuff? Is that like they've stopped it?
That's usually in the fall. You're like October.
Yeah, so like October-ish, September, October.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great time to say, here's what's going on with Halo next, right? That would be a cool time to find out what they're doing. Or if they want to announce it differently, fair enough. These guys, I'm sure Xbox is gonna have like a ton of shows.
Can I interrupt slightly?
Yeah,
it looks like they're going to delay it until December of 2026, December 11th through 13th.
Oh,
which one? Halo.
Interesting.
Halo.
Now,
If Google is correct, because I just Googled it just to see what it said, and this is the first thing that popped up. It said the Halo World Championship will be in Seattle, December 11th through 13th.
Wow.
So
okay.
Let me just add a little bit of context to this. Both what Parris literally just said and what Hargeet is asking. And this is where we put on our Detective Clouseau hats. And only if you're a Pink Panther fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Look, they announced last year that Halo Infinite, this past year, the 2025, was the last year that they were using Halo Infinite for championships. That was it. They were done with it. So this really does kind of, now when you start putting these pieces of this puzzle together, delay of it to December, you obviously have the 25th anniversary happening in November. They could be playing the new Halo for the multiplayer Halo for championships later almost at the end of the year. So again, folks, it's all speculation, sure, but it's starting to line up a bit. Yeah, Hargeet.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, and just to clarify further on what I was just saying, what it will be is Halo Fest, a major 3-day community event in Seattle, December 11th through the 13th, 2026, to celebrate the franchise's 25th anniversary, featuring concerts, conventions, and esports.
Oh man!
And that's generally right around the Game Awards, isn't it? Isn't that kind of when he does?
Yeah, that'd be like right before. So
yep.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Or would the Game Awards be like the day before? When does he? Is it like a Friday or Thursday or something like that? When does he usually do the Game Awards?
Usually, it's a Thursday. It's always a Thursday.
It's a Thursday. The Thursday would be the 10th. And you're saying this is 11, 12, 13?
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of lines up, doesn't
it? Big announcements.
Yeah, we figured it out. The 3 minds put together.
Some sleuthing.
not to tangent off into Halo stuff, but
right.
I've said since they announced Campaign Evolved, I was like, I will be shocked if there is not some type. I'm not saying what Campaign Evolved, but I'm saying some type of multiplayer Halo on PlayStation. I can't imagine them introducing. Finally, Halo is on PlayStation.
Of course, it makes sense. Dude. Yes.
And you don't have some kind of multiplayer.
Yeah,
they're going to
be very surprising to me. Yeah,
but yeah. So look, I like the release schedule seems reasonable. I'm looking forward to Halo next. Hopefully, that's something we get at Showcase. If not at the Game Awards, and maybe we get an extended look of something. I don't know. Maybe it just releases then. Maybe that's what happens. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see what they do with it. I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff that we just don't know about. But yeah, that release schedule seems pretty reasonable to me. I don't see any major flaws. We already know one that got leaked. We know that's happening. So
and Boom, if I can go back to something you were saying, you're bringing up Clockwork and holding out hope. I'm not, just because look already how packed this year is.
Yes.
I can't. Here's what I think. I know I'm tangenting slightly. I see a June showcase. You show more Clockwork. You show actual gameplay for State of Decay 3, but they're 2027. and the Dev Direct is probably Gears of War E-Day. That's what I think.
Interesting.
Now, and it wouldn't shock me if you don't even get Clockwork at the June showcase, and they hold that to, like we're about to have now next week, Dev Direct.
Oh, that's a strong. I like it. I see why you're. I mean, it makes sense, dude. It really does.
I'm just thinking. There's just so many games already that they're gonna have, and I tweeted this too, since I say I tweet a lot. I tweeted this back in November, and then I just retweeted it again now. I said back in November, I go, if Forza, Halo, Gears, and Fable all launch in calendar year 2026, you can argue this is the biggest year that Xbox Game Studio has had in their 25-year history, because you're getting to all the flagship titles in one year.
Yep.
We've never had that before, right?
No.
And you know, people get mad and say crazy stuff, but please explain to me where I'm wrong. That's what I would like to know.
That lineup is just ridiculous, dude. It just is.
And if they show us, I don't know where it is, but there's so many rumors about it. But if they show us Elder Scrolls 6 coming out, maybe next year, right? Maybe that comes out in June showcase, but that would be a crazy year next year too. But that's the other big one that they have is Elder Scrolls. So,
I mean,
and that's another one where I think it could be showcased. Don't get me wrong. Clearly, they're hinting with the tease that they put out the other day about big year for 6
ending in 6. Yes.
To me, that's something that you show at the 25-year celebration, because I don't think Elder Scrolls 6 is next year. I think 2028 if we're lucky. So that could be finally, hey, look, here's our first look at Elder Scrolls 6, and you could do that at the 25, because the 25-year anniversary should be, let's look back at the previous 25 years and then let's look ahead to future stuff that's coming, right? That makes the most sense. It's a celebration, right? So to your point, Boom, I expect we see whatever this next Xbox is, they're probably showing it there, right? I could see the future of Halo being shown there, and Elder Scrolls 6 being shown there makes a lot of sense too. And remember last year with all the awful layoffs, one of the things that they tried to soften the blow with is the fact that they got 40 plus games in production. So there's stuff that we don't even know about that they're working on that they could potentially tease at whatever this 25th anniversary is. And then not to mention, hey, we've given you our flagships this entire year, and now here's a payoff at the 25th anniversary. So we'll see. And obviously the game's got to be good, or none of this matters.
Well, of course.
Yeah, and I don't know how many more games we really want to have from them this year, because like there's also other games, right? So
man, it's insane. Yeah, it's an insane year.
It's good to slow down. Right? If we get like a Fallout 3 remake, that's a pretty big one. I don't know if that's happening this year, but we'll see. If it does, that's cool. A Fallout New Vegas remake, stuff like that. Both games, by the way, which I have not played. So I would love to play those.
But I'm jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
So I would love to play those, because I tried to go back to those, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to play these.
It's a little tough. Yeah.
It's like, so I've been waiting for these, and hopefully they do get remade. So that would be awesome to actually play them remade. But look, we have so many options there just from that as well. But like, there's so many other games that I'm looking forward to. So I think that's enough. I don't need to go crazy. That's a big enough release schedule. They'll have other smaller games too. We still have Grounded 2's full release. That's maybe coming this year. Maybe it's coming next year. We'll see, because they're saying it's a lot more content, right? So we'll see if they're going to be able to finish that. I still don't know what Double Fine, the main studio of Double Fine, what they're doing, right? Because we got the little keeper, side joint. We didn't get their full actual game. Maybe that's coming up soon. We have other studios working on stuff that we don't know about, and then we also have like all these other side projects that they keep doing with third parties that we might find some cool little thing going on that we just get a surprise, like Ninja Gaiden came out of nowhere last year. So let's see what happens, right? So plenty of stuff to go on. We still have OD and Blade and
State of Decay 3. There's a lot. Yeah.
So it's good stuff.
Wolfenstein 3, which is supposed to launch right alongside the show for Amazon, which is
supposedly they still want to do another indie, right? So
well, there's a rumor that they're going to do a trilogy, not just another one, but two more. So there's a lot. So Bethesda themselves, they I said this the other day, and I want to bring Kay in and get his thoughts on Parris Lilly's breakdown, because I think Parris is really onto something. I think that everything that he had put in the list really does line up. Now, granted, I know that, I almost knew this. I didn't want to say anything, Parris. I knew there was going to be somebody that, well, what do you mean? As the first 6 months is barren. There's a lot releasing. You have maybe people don't consider DLC as new. You have an expansion for Diablo. You have an expansion for this one or that one. Maybe those aren't new. Maybe we do get the Fallout 3 remake as a shadow drop next week. I think that's one of them. Prototype is the other one that we're hearing, or at least I'm hearing could be one that we've heard about that. And this is not, I'm not like breaking NDAs or leaking anything. We've been talking about Prototype, them releasing it for like 4 months ago, like almost in the middle of last year. We've talked about this before. So that's also a possibility on top of other things that, Matt Booty himself literally said, we have games that so many games, we don't know where to put them. And there are games releasing that we have not even announced. I mean, those are right out of Matt Booty's mouth. He literally said that.
I can add a little bit to that as well. So at Summer Game Fest last year, I had a conversation with Matt Booty, which hell, I could say it now. He straight up said back then, "Oh yeah, Forza Horizon 6 next year." So I was like, "Oh crap, okay." But he said even then because the question I had for him was, because remember October was crazy. You had like Keeper, Ninja Gaiden 4, and there were something else. They had like 3. Oh, Outer Worlds 2. Yeah, like all these games coming out in October. I'm like, why are you putting all these games out bunched together? Why don't you spread them out? And his words then was, we got so much coming. We just got to get it out, because we got so much coming in the next calendar year that there's just no room. So we got to get these games out now, because we can't keep waiting, was basically what he was saying. So to the point about the first half of the year, yeah, they're going to have third-party stuff that people are partnered with. They're going to have DLCs, expansion, things like that. But let's not forget, nobody knew until they said it that Grounded 2 was even a thing.
Yes.
And then it was out.
True.
Then it was out in July. Boom.
Yep.
So who knows? We don't know. I mean, there's stuff that they can announce even as early as next week that we have no idea about that's out. So I wouldn't worry about it too much.
I mean, again, I think they understand how important it is. They are going to be celebrating the entire year. But before we get into that conversation, Case Hunter, let's bring in and get your thoughts on Parris's breakdown on it starting in May, having a game in August, September, October, November. I like what he's putting down, and I think there's going to be a lot more before then. And I think there are going to be some shadow drops that could potentially do exactly what he just said. Literally, hey, we announced this, a couple of weeks later, boom, go.
Yeah. Honestly, his list is very plausible. I was looking over it in the timeline and all that. It does make absolute sense. Now, the thing that I've heard this being said about what Matt thought about the release schedule and all that. The only thing that not worries me, but a thing that I need to always keep in the back of my mind rather is, like, Nintendo was very good at this, where they would they'd finish a game, have some arbitrary schedule, and then the game would be completed, and they'd put it on the shelf, and then when they needed it, they'd break glass, and there it goes. It may be a year after it was made, right? Like it was waiting for the opportune moment. I hope that there's some thought to that within the camp of Xbox, because even if they have so many studios as they do, and they have so many teams as they do, eventually the spigot runs dry because everybody is recouping, rebuilding, right?
Yeah.
Do they have enough to where it will never dry? You have to hold on to one or two for that emergency day when you need to shove something out there from a first party perspective, right? So I'm that's just the only part of it that I just go, I keep hearing them talk about how much they have and they need to release it and all that. But even if you have like 32 teams, I think about last I checked, not accounting for any of the sub teams or whatever, right? Eventually, when the 32nd team releases a game, are we saying that the team number one would have then had enough time within that time frame to release a game again? Because now they're done. Like, is it that much of a flywheel now? I am not sure of that. That's what I'm asking. You know what I mean? And we shall see it materialize soon enough, right? They're asking for more money for their service. They're providing very bold new requirements and bold new offerings that they're offering you, right? Putting their foot down about how many first parties and third parties you'll get per year and stuff. So it seems like they're confident that they now have some kind of flywheel going. I just want to see when I get, say, another from a compulsion, right? Remember, Obsidian is 10 years, 10 games, they have said. They did that Babe Ruth thing way back when. And they're like, how many years in right now, and how many games are they dropping?
They're right? Close, so, because you know, it's funny. You know what? This is an incredible opportunity that you have presented to me, Kay Asante. I want to segue what you're saying, and I'm going to hand the mic right back to you. And the question I'm going to pose for Parris, Lilly, yourself, and Hargeet is, of the 32 studios, whose unannounced games are you most excited for? I want to segue into that because, look, I want to say this. I have said this publicly. I know folks over in Obsidian. I don't say this because I'm trying to get a pat on the ass by anybody, folks. I love that freaking studio. You have no idea. They are my favorite studio in gaming, not just in Xbox. They are the studio that just makes games. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they have the stamina to do what they do. They released 3 freaking games last year. Oh, and PS, by the way, an expansion for turn-based combat in Pillars of Eternity. Oh, freaking well, right? Like, they didn't need to do that, but they did. And the recent rumor with them is they're working on 4 games, 2 AAA, 2 AA, and Tim Kaine has joined Obsidian. Oh, who is that? You know who Tim Kaine is? Well, let me tell you about this mythical man. He created freaking Fallout, by the way. So, yeah, there's a lot. So if I just jumped in front of you, I'm sorry, but I had to have my little rant of excitement. Obsidian is my favorite freaking studio. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to do the Babe Ruth thing. I am hoping someone from Obsidian is listening. And Parris, I know this has happened to you more times than it will ever happen to me, but I want to get invited to that studio. I want to be able to take a picture in front of that front desk, and hopefully one day that will happen. And I'm putting it out into the universe. Sometimes the universe spits back at you. Sometimes it gives you a red carpet. I hope that happens for me personally. But Kay Asante, out of all the studios that Xbox Game Studios has, and they have a lot of them, who is you're most excited for whatever they're doing next?
Honestly, there's just too many of them. Like you mentioned Obsidian. I have like in this generation, I have equated for a long time. I've been the hugest Insomniac fan. This generation, I would say Obsidian has been to Microsoft and Xbox what Insomniac has been to PlayStation. Every time they release, they're basically keeping that platform on their back. They're releasing one quality title after another, right? I was a big fan of Avowed, and then of course I really spent how many days no lifing Outer Worlds 2. Like they just keep releasing it. And like you, Hargeet, I haven't even jumped into Grounded 2 yet. Grounded 1 was unusually deep, right? Like you thought it was just this cute little fun thing. You spent a lot of days in that game. So I tend to be with you, Boom, that they are my favorite studio that these guys that they currently have. But I will say, I want to see what happens next with the Ninja Theory, right? They released a Hellblade 2, right? Which I expect possibly a Hellblade 3 is underway. There's rumor and speculation abound as to how that will look. I've always loved that studio. Since Heavenly Sword, I've loved that studio. Since Journey to the West, I love that studio, right? I want to see them go back to more of their creative roots as far as Journey to the West and Heavenly Sword, right? So I'm excited to see what these guys put out, right? I mean, I could go on for days here. Come on now, Double Fine. We need to see what they're doing. There's so many little mini studios.
Gentleman of a man.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's just so much, and you and I both know, Boom. The first thing I said when I saw Clockwork Revolution was, "Oh my God, this thing's amazing! It speaks my language. I can't wait for that." And now I hear it might not be this year, but hey, or soon rather. But it is what it is. When the time comes, maybe that's how they're going to approach Clockwork Revolution. That will be the game that will be released strategically rather than just blurting it all out. I don't know, right? We're not sure, but there's just a lot to be excited about from a lot of their studios these days. So I'm excited to see how it all lands, but it's not even the ones that we know about. I've said this to folks in the Discord and a few other places as well. I come from my music background, and in that world there are things called A&R managers. People back in the early '90s and stuff, whose job it was to curate the content. Right? Their job was to go out there and find the content and bring it forth and bring it to the world. And in gaming, there seem to be the same kind of roles, at least within Xbox right now. For example, within Game Pass, right? I will say 2024 and 2025, both years brought about the most indie games and games I didn't know I needed in my life coming from that service, right? Didn't know I knew I can't. Ball X Pit, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know I needed any of them. A game about digging a hole. Oh my God, how much time my kids and I spent digging a freaking hole, right? And we didn't know I wouldn't have bought it. It wasn't on my radar. So I am now convinced that is where their creativity really lies. Yeah, they're going to release amazing games. Yeah, I'm going to see what happens with their AAA awesome games. We're going to get all that. But then they're gonna clue me also into some indie crazy thing that I didn't know I needed in my life in 2026. And that's why I still have Game Pass. That's why I still like it so much. Those guys and gals are super talented. It seems like they know what's gonna be the next thing. Every single time they release some kind of know-nothing, it becomes the zeitgeist. So I'm very, very excited about what we don't know that they're going to release. What small know-nothing game will end up being possibly a Game of the Year contender again for the third year in a row, So that's where I'm excited for.
I like it. Parris, I know you don't, you're pressed for time, so I want to get your thoughts on, for you, not talking about what you know, because we know that you do a lot of interviews with Danny, you do a lot of work on your own YouTube channel, you've made some incredible strides last year. I would imagine you're going to have even bigger ones this year. For you personally, as a gamer, not Parris Lilly the entertainer, just a gamer like us, right? Like anybody in the chat, of the studios that they have, who are you most excited to see work from?
I'm a little biased.
Okay.
Because I've been to the studio and I've got to see the team. I want to see what's next for Compulsion.
Dude, that's a really good one. Yeah.
Because while South of Midnight didn't live up to what I wanted from actual gameplay, what they were able to create, that world, artistic style, the music, and again, this is where my bias coming in, seeing how passionate the people that made that game are about making games. I think they'll take a lot of lessons learned from South of Midnight and apply it to whatever's next for them. And it's funny. I'll just say this. I remember with all the red lines, everything coming to PlayStation, I asked someone, why isn't South of Midnight already on PlayStation? And the response was, would you rather Compulsion apply their resources to porting South of Midnight to PlayStation, or would you rather Compulsion apply all their resources to making their next game?
Oh,
and
man,
this person was excited about it. So I have no idea what it is or whatever, but I'm like, yeah, I'd rather than be working on their next game, worrying about porting it to another platform, which ironically enough, now it is.
Parris, I will also co-sign what you just said, because I too have friends in the building that Compulsion, and I asked the same question, the same PlayStation, and they were like, well, if it is it's not getting done by me, and if it's not getting done by me, it's not getting done. So we'll see what's happening, because as soon as I'm done here, I'm off to the next one, which was the idea. And we see where it is now. Yeah. So
there was very little that I didn't love about South of Midnight. I understand like the complaints for the combat, because it was good, but it wasn't great. There wasn't enough variety. But I have to tell you, as a person that really, the size of the studio has never mattered to me. And I got a chance. There was a New York event that I was invited to, which again, I got to thank Rubenstein for always inviting me to these things here in New York. And I got a chance to speak with the devs and Parris, to co-sign what you were saying about the passion of these developers, the excitement on their faces when they were showing off this game and who they worked with to get the motion caption done and how the claymation worked. It was infectious. Honestly, it really was. It just was something for me personally that I was so lucky to be a part of. And honestly, like you, I cannot wait to see what they're going to do. And I actually think you're right, Parris. I think that there are going to be lessons learned from South to Midnight. But like I said, I encourage anyone who wants a deep story told game with incredible dialogue, outstanding music, and just a different type of game. You don't really play a lot of claymation level games these days. You just don't. And if you missed it because it's maybe you never heard of the game, or maybe you don't know who Compulsion is, whether you play it on PC, whether you play on Xbox, or you're just waiting for PlayStation 5, play this game, please, because it is worthy of your time. But Parris, again, I don't know how much time you have here, brother, but I really appreciate you stopping by. And again, I just saw you gave me the question mark on the DM. I'm so sorry. I didn't
And the funny thing is, I'm sure you know, with Twitter now, you don't get notifications. I just so happened to go click to see if someone that messaged me and I saw it, or I would have missed it. But no, I appreciate you having me up, and I'm looking forward to next week with the developer direct. See what Fable's going to look like. Obviously, get all the details on Forza Horizon 6, and whatever this mystery fourth game is going to be. We'll see what that is, but I'm excited for it, man. It's always good to kick off the year like this, and kind of get us pumped up for what's coming the rest of the year as far as games go.
Yeah, it's definitely the big show of the year, and obviously, it usually bookends their year, but we'll see what happens, and I'm very excited. But thanks so much for popping in, brother. Super appreciate it, and we'll be definitely talking, because I'm planning to go out to LA in June for whatever is going to be there.
Yeah.
We can hang out. So.
Yep, I'll see you then. Y'all have a good rest of the show.
All right, you brother. Thanks so much.
Later.
So Hargeet, let's bring you in, brother. There is a lot to be excited about for Xbox this year. We know that their lineup is unlike anything we've ever seen before. It's again to Parris and Keasante's thoughts. We have never seen a release schedule like this from anyone. Like, look, you've heard me say this, ladies and gentlemen. I don't like the us first versus them mentality, which is why I don't really, I'll give PlayStation the business when it's necessary, but I will give them the flowers when I think they've earned it. And if you go back to 2018, 2019, and 2020, they put an incredible 3-year block together. There's just no arguing at that. Now, maybe if those games aren't for you, because maybe they're too samey, I hear you, folks. I'm not going to fight you on it. Those are my types of games. I own a PlayStation for those types of games. But this year in particular is going to go down as the greatest year in Xbox gaming history. And I would dare say, folks, I mean, we have to wait for everything to play out. We have to wait to the end of the year. We're only in the 14th day of the new year, so we have a long road ahead of us. But I would have no problem going on record and saying that this might be the best year in gaming any platform has ever had, ever. I know that's ridiculous, and I know I'm walking a razor's edge of madness, but you cannot say that you've ever seen anything like this. But that's not the question here, Hargeet. The question I have for you is simple. Of the potential 32 studios that they do have, who are you most excited for a game that you know about or that you don't know about?
Yeah, so you could say something like Bethesda without the Elder Scrolls, which I mean, I'm hoping that's going to be a smash hit. So that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. But actually, the one I'm looking forward to is the one I know nothing about, and that would be Elsewhere, the one they formed. with Activision.
Yes, dude.
And with talent from story writers from Last of Us, Uncharted, Witcher, Cyberpunk, Destiny, Tom Clancy's Division, and Far Cry, they've got some talent there. So the question is, what are they going to give us? And it's supposed to be like a story narrative driven game, right? That's what their focus is. I'm more interested in what the heck are they going to give us? I want to see that surprise, right? What they spent the money to go get this, create this studio, right? So we lost the initiative, but we got this. And so I'm very interested in what that's going to be, right? So will it actually like make something useful, or will it totally fail? Right? We don't know, but the excitement of, hey, you got something new going on, right? And you've got this studio you're making in I think it's in Poland, and you have all this talent. Like, okay, this could be something very interesting, right? So that's the studio I want to see. What the heck are they going to do? Now, was that like a year ago? How far back was that when they made that studio?
Minute. Yeah.
So it's not like it's too too long after they made it. So I don't expect to see anything like soonish, but in the next couple of years they might be dropping a trailer. So I'm very interested to see what the heck they pull off, right? So there's plenty of dev talent in Poland. I'm sure they're global. They can obviously get talent from everywhere, right? But they're over there, and there's a lot of good studios out there, So it's an interesting place, and let's see what they pull off. I'm very interested to see what the stuff is that I don't know about, right? So I already know what's going to happen, with a lot of the other studios. But to your point, any one of them could put out something crazy. Who thought Playground Games was going to give us Fable, right? So, but we're getting Fable, so very cool. But yeah, so that's the one that sticks out. When you talk about the number of studios, one thing you have to keep in mind is several of those studios are dedicated to one game that comes out every year, not of course Call of Duty. So we have to keep that in mind. Unfortunately, a big chunk of their development effort goes into Call of Duty. Another chunk goes into keeping Candy Crush running and continuing to print money there. So fair enough, right? And then another big one is, of course, Minecraft. That will always keep just making Minecraft. So that's going to keep happening. But outside of that, they do have a lot. And, I still think that there's room for a little bit more. A little bit more. So,
I mean, look, no matter how you shake it out, we're all going to be up to our eyeballs in games. We are going to have a backlog that continues to just be ridiculous. We're at a bit of a lull now, and I still feel overwhelmed because I went out and bought a bunch of games at the end of the year sale. I got someone gifted me Borderlands 4. I got Metal Gear Solid 3. I actually got what was that game that was by the ex Rockstar people that was that came out last year?
Mind's Eye?
Yes, I picked it up for I think $17 new, and I'm like, I heard you know who made me buy this? I think Joey and Ray from WBG were talking about it. And they're like, yeah, it's not that bad. I'm like, okay, $17. How bad could it be? Because a couple of my friends were playing it. And they're like, yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's no Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, okay, I'll try it for 17. But buying that game along with everything I've bought, I'm overwhelmed. No, I'm not. So shout out to Rick L. No, I'm not buying Cold Violet soon. Don't worry. I'm not going to be part of the 3.8s that most of that game is getting. No, I'm not going to do that. But look, ladies and gentlemen, I want to catch up on the super chat we got here. Again, we normally go 90 minutes. We're gonna go we're gonna cut it a little short because I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit. I'm still recovering from being sick. I know that Hargeet is still sick. It's been a lot. It's been a year already, and we're only on the 14th day. But we do have a bunch of things happening for the remainder of the week. Tomorrow, C Money and I will be sitting down at noon. I'm not even sure. I have to actually write the topics, but I do have a Call of Duty versus Battlefield one that I'm really kind of sinking my teeth into because Battlefield is limping on or off of the battlefield. They've lost 93% of their players. on Steam, and no one's playing the game. I know that it's still ranking in the top 15 on consoles, but it's just, look, people want skins, man. I'm sorry. I someone said this to me, and I had to check. Right, I actually said this to Keasante. Do you know what the number one selling skin of Call of Duty of all time is? Which I wouldn't take this for free. I'm going to be honest with you. Nicki Minaj is the number one selling skin. I'm sorry, folks. People do not want to look like, like just Joe Soldier with a different color helmet or color glasses or a grenade on my right arm versus my left arm. Battlefield is boring. I'm sorry. It just is. And Call of Duty is not, which is why it keeps doing well, even though it's, according to Bobby Kotick, 60% sold, 6% less than it would have, with Black Ops 6. But that's because it has competition. Battlefield being one of them, Arc Raiders being the big one. But yeah, I think that Battlefield is going to be what it always is. Always, it's going to be second to Call of Duty. That's just my, sorry if you get offended, but I love Call of Duty. I don't like Battlefield, and the new one I didn't buy it. So there's that. But let me catch up on Super Chats, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, before I lose my chain of thought. So tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with C-Money, 10 a.m. Friday morning, Breakfast with Boom. I have to write the show. This Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, a very rare Saturday, I'm doing a podcast, and it's our annual Game of the Year show, right? It's me, my brother, my two friends that we grew up with, and we're a bunch of old men that are nerds that talk about gaming, and we're going to give you our top 10 and our most anticipated for the year, and a whole bunch of other things. My friend Joe is the one actually that wrote up the topics list, and it's our annual Game of the Year. I think this is now like the 5th or 6th year that we're doing it, but we've been doing it for years, just being a bunch of nerds hanging out, having dinner, and just talking about video games in someone's house. So now we get to do it because now I have a podcast. So if you are interested in watching a bunch of old men talk about video games, and you are an old man or old woman yourself, tune in this Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, that is the extra one of the week. I'm excited to do it. But we have a super chat here from Mac22 in the chat. And he says, Hargeet, are you looking forward to survival games Exodus? ? I can't wait for this game. And of course, that comes the way of a very generous $5 super chat. So Mac, thank you so much for that. Exodus, yes. I'm very much looking forward to that. I know Hargeet is as well. He wrote a book. Yeah. We'll talk about that in the back end when we get to the outros. That is about, it's kind of like in the same vein. So we'll wait for Hargeet to tell us about that. But yeah, Exodus looks dope, dude. And the more you hear about what's going on in EA, the less I'm confident. They need a win, man. They just need a W. And Dragon Age wasn't it. And my God, if they don't hit with Mass Effect 4, oh my God, I don't know what's gonna happen, man. They need a W, man. And I think most of us want a new Mass Effect that's just going to be as good as the first 3. I don't know if they can do that anymore, to be honest with you. I want to be proven wrong, folks. I want to be proven wrong. But Hargeet, let's sell the brand, brother. Obviously, like I was mentioning seconds ago, he wrote a book, folks. It's called Emergence, and it's like Mass Effect. And if you are someone looking forward towards Exodus, you might want to check out the book. So Hargeet, drop the link in the private chat so I can drop it into the into the chat. So if people want to check out your book, they can potentially buy your book. And obviously, you also want to check out his YouTube channel, folks. He has a YouTube channel where he puts content regularly on top of being on a lot of podcasts, including this one every Wednesday. Sell the brand, brother. Where can people buy the book, potentially find you on other podcasts, and not find you, sir, on social media because you're smart?
Yeah, no social media. My book, shop.china.us. Check it out. It's a kind of Mass Effect-y story if you like those kind of stories. And then my channel's YouTube on YouTube is Hargeet21. If you want to subscribe, go ahead. And I will, I guess, C-Money and Doodle, they have some family engagement going on this Friday, so there won't be a show there. I will be on with Web Dave on Sunday.
Nice.
Check that out, 7 p.m. US Eastern Time. And then with Fonz on Tuesday, 7 p.m. US Eastern Time on Fonz Gaming. And then we'll be back here right before the day before the nice Dev Direct, which is on Thursday. We'll be back here on Wednesday. Maybe we'll have more leaks of what's going on.
I was going to say, we might have a leak or three. Yeah, you never know. I mean, again, my original source and Colt Eastwood's as well said there was going to be 7 games there. We all thought that was a little bit much, but I think there's going to be at least 5. We know 3.
But Boom, you think about this. Maybe the 7 games is a compilation. Maybe they have like a Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3 and something else together.
Yeah.
That's a one box, but it's 3 games, right? So you never know. It could be something like that. We don't know. There could be some weird thing like that.
Yeah, well, we will certainly see. Shout out to Big Mad Mo. That's that's a nice compliment, brother. He says the Saturday show is always one of Boom's best shows, hands down. Yeah, thanks. We talk about like it's just like a big nerd fest, man. It's we have fun. We're not the Game Awards. We're probably only going to get a couple of 100 views out of the thing, but we do it for us as guys that grew up together, and we do it for the community that actually tunes in. And I know that Kay Asante likes the show, so thank you, Kay, for that. Appreciate it. Especially
one of my favorite shows of yours, man.
You get to see my brother live on the air. Again, shows up every now and again. But sell the brand, brother, because this Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you and Everborn Saga will be putting out what you always do, and that's great content on Saturday mornings. And that is known as the Gaming Circle Podcast, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sell the brand, brother. Where can people subscribe? Join the Discord and follow you on social media.
So, yeah, thank you so much. And this time, Gaming Circle Podcast on YouTube. We do it at 10 a.m. on 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday mornings. Last week, we had a great developer on talking about a single-man game. He wrote all the code. He did all the art assets. He literally even did all the music, and the music slaps. The guy was amazing, and he came out. We gave a bunch of codes away and stuff like that as well. So if you haven't checked the episode out, you should go ahead and do so. I will say, actually, you should check out Discord, discord.gg/TGCP. Again, discord.gg/TGCP. Why? Because I have put the community on notice. We have drafted all this information. I put it all together today. We're gonna count down to the top 10 Nintendo games of all time, and we're gonna do it in like debate fashion. And that's starting probably next week, because as I finalize my plans on what we'll do. And then once we're done there, we'll go to PlayStation, we'll go to Genesis, we'll go to any and every other platform until eventually we have this concise list of what this community driven thing. So for the next couple foreseeable weeks, I suggest there will most likely be a lot of gaming conversation to be had. So if you're like, hey, I want to come and fight for my GOAT game, join us on the Gaming Circle Podcast Discord. There's still time to throw games into the other platforms, but the Nintendo one is now locked. There are other platforms that we'll debate later. So you could come check it out and come join the voice chat. We do voice debates back and forth. A bunch of us sitting in the voice chat just talking games. Really fun. So come join us. And see you guys next week. It's always great to be here.
Nice, brother. Well, real quick, shout out to General Spartan, who answered Will the Broke Boy Lewis's says Will the Broke Boy Insider, as he's known, dropped a very generous $2 super chat and says show isn't during the NFL playoffs, Boom. And General Spartan responded by saying, where is it? For the love of Joe. Oh, here it is. It's the playoffs are later. Yes, they're usually later on Saturdays and Sundays because they want, of course, people to view and at night. And good luck with your Bears, brother. I do hope that they win after that comeback with the Packers. Oh my God, dude! What? Look, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, General Spartan, say that I didn't turn off the TV. I absolutely did. When the Packers scored that touchdown with 5 minutes left, I'm like, that's it. They're done. And somehow or another, the freaking Bears just did it. I love their story. I'm Bears. A Steeler fan. And well, listen, Tomlin's gone. So again, a great man, a man of men, as he's known. His style of coaching became stale, and you cannot go almost a decade without a playoff win. You just can't. I'm sorry. So I don't know what they're going to do in the future, but I've been a Steeler fan since '76, so I can talk that talk because I've been watching and buying gear for 150 years, and it was time for change. I appreciate what that man did for the organization, but his time has come and gone, and I'm glad that they're moving on, and he decided to move on, but that's fine. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about the football talk if you're not a football fan, but that's going to do it for us here. A big thank you to the 2 super chats that came in today. Mrs. Boom and I do greatly appreciate the generosity. Of course, we appreciate the views, folks, and we just got notified by YouTube. I put it out there on the socials. We officially have uploaded over 2,500 videos in our 8 years on YouTube. That is a lot, folks. I did not realize that we were close 2,500 plus uploads. And well, we do it for you, folks. We do really. I really have sunk my teeth into doing the shorts. I did a couple. They've really hit. So I have a couple of unboxings. I have a big one. Well, actually, I have quite a few big ones. Obsidian sent me a very limited press kit that I think they only made a couple of hundred of, and it's for Avowed. It's the mask of the antagonist, and it comes in this ginormous wizard-like book. It is incredibly rare, and I didn't do an unboxing. I'm gonna hold out until the PlayStation 5 release because everyone's gonna be talking about the game, and of course that's the anniversary, and we're gonna get to play the new game plus. I'm going to do an unboxing for this thing. And again, this wasn't sent to a lot of people. Obsidian sent it to me, and I really cannot thank them enough for this. This gift was incredible, and I cannot wait to share it with you fine folks. And I'll do that in a couple of weeks when they hit their 1 year anniversary with Avowed, because this thing is I got it. Like, I want to. It's so nice. I want to display it in a glass case. It's just stunning. Oh, yes. Look at you. That's right. Yes, I got them also here as well. Ben Kenobi, the man that just keeps doing great content. He sent everybody the statues for the coins. I'm going to work with them behind the scenes. We're going to start doing some giveaways for additional coins and some of these statues as soon as Holly and Ben, work some things out. But yeah, that's awesome, dude. Yes, the coins are so freaking good, man. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here. I hope that you enjoyed the conversation enough to hit the like button. If you are someone that's not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. Mrs. Boom and I would greatly appreciate it, as we are now on the hunt for 17K. You fine folks can help us get there by simply subscribing. If you're feeling super generous and you want to do the little extra, share this out on the socials, folks. Let people know about Double Barrel Gaming. This year is going to be content out the yin yang. It's the 25th anniversary. We are not a dedicated Xbox channel, but we have 3 shows that are dedicated to the brand. It's our favorite brand, at least my favorite brand for sure. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. Please have a great evening. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me, folks. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends.